Tonight on CTV News at 5.
Being able to apply for citizenship would just open more doors and opportunities for us to find a safe harbor.
Seeking citizenship, Americans dig up their true north roots with hopes they lead to a Canadian passport.
I just jokingly said, well, if we left now, we could probably make it halfway to Buffalo tonight. And an hour later, we were on the road.
Montreal moves on. Hab fans go the extra mile and rejoice as the team gets closer to Lord Stanley's Cup.
Temperatures have gone from warm to hot for parts of the Maritimes. More tomorrow.
Live from the Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News at 5.
Good evening and welcome to CTV News at 5. I'm Maria Penopalis. Thank you for joining us. First at 5 tonight would be Canadians. Now that the first generation limit has been changed in the Citizenship Act, a growing number of Americans are investigating their family ties to Canada from generations back. CTV's Ryan McDonald spoke with a Florida woman who's eager to prove her Canadian roots. Ryan.
Maria, indeed. I tracked down someone who lives in the Sunshine State today who has been to Cape Breton before and likes it here, possibly enough to move across the border. But one of the questions she has is one that many others do too about this topic. Just how far back in your family tree do you have to go? Canada and the United States may be next-door neighbors, but even people who live more than 2,000 kilometers from the border are looking into the possibility of Canadian citizenship.
I live in Florida. The political climate is pretty difficult and stressful.
Shelley Taylor and her husband Peter vacation in Canada fairly often. She says she had great-great-grandparents who were born in Quebec, so she is trying to find out if that might be enough to qualify for a Canadian passport.
Being able to apply for citizenship would just open more doors and opportunities for us to find a safe harbor.
Well, there's been recently a wave of American applicants seeking proof of their Canadian citizenship.
This immigration lawyer in British Columbia says he has dealt with cases himself and that in many instances the reason behind the requests is...
Yes, it may be the Trump trampoline encouraging American citizens to have a plan B.
He adds that many Americans who apply for Canadian citizenship likely share Canadian values, so he sees this as a win-win. As for who might be eligible,
the chances are pretty good that if your parent or grandparent, even a great-grandparent, was born in Canada.
So what about great-great-grandparents?
That usually doesn't work. The timeline is just too long.
It's just quieter, slower pace, and everybody just seems super easygoing.
Still, this resident of the Sunshine State says visits to the Maritimes, including to her brother in Cape Breton, have sparked her and her husband's interest in the way of life here. So she is digging through the family tree for things like old birth certificates to at least find out if they might have some options. And they still plan on visiting as often as they can.
So anytime we're near the border, we're like, hey, let's take a few hours and just cross over and get some Timmies and maybe a new Canadian shirt.
And according to the immigration lawyer who I spoke with today, the estimated wait time for proof of citizenship, if you were to apply today, is 12 months. As for how many people are in the queue waiting, he says about 70,400, although that includes people from all over the world, not only the United States. Maria.
Thank you very much, Ryan. CTV's Ryan McDonald for us in Sydney this evening. And that actually brings us to tonight's web poll. We are asking, how far back should people outside the country be able to go to claim Canadian citizenship? These are your options. As far back as your parents, grandparents, or great-grandparents, or further down the line. Just go to ctvnewsatlantic.ca to weigh in and to see the latest poll results. All right, to the anchor desk we go now, where Todd Battis is standing by with a look at the headlines. Hi, Todd.
Hi, Maria. Big loss in our region today. Robert Irving is being remembered for his contributions to his community. Irving died at home after a lengthy battle with cancer. As the CEO of J.D. Irving Limited, his influence was felt in pretty much everything from forestry to hockey. His beloved Wildcats, you see there. We will have reaction at 6 o'clock. This is a stunning scene at the town wharf in Annapolis Royal, in the Annapolis Valley of Nova Scotia. An ambulance went over the edge. Luckily, there was no patients in the back. The tide was out. The crew was able to get out of that vehicle safely. We will tell you how it happened. Callum Smith is in Annapolis Royal. He'll have that story for us tonight at 6. Well, Halifax is making it more expensive for the two main tenants of the Wanderers grounds. The city is adding a $3 surcharge for each ticket to a Wanderers and Tides game, as well as a 5% surcharge on a beer if you want to have one at the game. As you can expect, both clubs not very impressed. We'll find out if fans are tonight at 6. All right. After a stunning long weekend, Kayla Mitchell has the details on what shaped up to be a pretty decent day as well for the first day back to work for a lot of us.
Yeah, it was generally one of the sunniest and warmest May long weekends that I can remember over the past couple of years for the Maritimes. And for some parts of the Maritimes today, those warm temperatures, well, they turned hot, especially around the southwestern corner of New Brunswick and interior areas of the west of Nova Scotia. I mean, the big standout number here, taking a look at current temperatures around the Maritimes, that 32 degrees showing up at Ketchum-Kujik Park. So far for today at weather stations monitored by Environment Canada, that is the hottest temperature in the country. And there were some personal weather stations as well in that interior part of the southwest of Nova Scotia that reported some temperatures around 31, 32 degrees. We do have some more heat in the forecast for the region coming up on Wednesday. Taking a look at the winds, a little bit variable in direction, but being sustained between around 5 and 15 kilometers per hour. You probably noticed there on the current temperature map there were some areas a little bit cooler, especially around northern New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island, and parts of the east of Nova Scotia. One of the reasons for that is they've had some passing rounds of some rain and some showers moving through. This isn't really heavy precipitation. In most cases, it'll be just a few millimeters, but the cloud cover, the precipitation, just bringing temperatures down there a little bit. Now, the bulk of these showers is going to be clearing through this evening, and in the forecast for tomorrow, more sunshine. It's going to send those temperatures upwards again. So we'll take a closer look at that when I'm back with the forecast just a little bit later on. Maria.
Thank you very much, Kaylin. We'll see you in just a bit. Right now, though, thousands laced up in Halifax over the weekend for one of the city's biggest annual traditions, the Blue Nose Marathon. As CTV's Hafsa Arif reports, from first-time runners to seasoned marathoners, the streets were packed.
Running shoes hitting pavements across Halifax, with some taking on the relay, others the half, and those going through all 42 kilometers of the full Blue Nose Marathon.
I have Hot Girls Run half marathons for my sister Michaela and my friend Neil. And we have for 10K Haley and Jaden. These are my other two friends. My sister just turned 20 on Friday and she wanted to do a half marathon for her birthday.
Along the sidelines, cowbells, cheers, and homemade signs, all to help fuel runners and keep the energy high.
I think we're doing great. Yeah, we're just trying to get everyone excited, get everyone in. I mean, it's not a great day outside, but I think things are gonna turn around, and we just want everyone to have a good time.
And within hours, it certainly did. The rain clouds gave way to a sunny sky by the time runners crossed the finish line.
Fantastic day, beautiful day, good weather. The volunteers were cheering us along the whole way. It was awesome.
For many, the Blue Nose is more than just a race. It's community, celebration, and sometimes proof you can do hard things.
Beautiful run, lots of ocean. We don't have the ocean where we're from, so that was beautiful to see. Yeah, it was a beautiful run. Lots of hills, though.
It's months of training, sore muscles, and early mornings, all leading to one moment.
Probably tried to run about 70, 80 kilometers a week sort of thing for probably the last 6 or 8 weeks or so. But a lot of running, a lot of long runs in the rain, doing the hills of Halifax.
Thousands participated in races throughout the weekend, with runners coming from across Atlantic Canada and beyond. Hafsa Arif, CTV News, Halifax.
Thank you, Hafsa. The hills of Halifax. Congratulations to everyone who participated. All right, time for our first break here on CTV News at 5. When we come back, though, no guitar, no problem.
It's something that we all do, a little bit of air guitar now and then, but this is about celebrating those little moments of joy.
The first ever Air Guitar Canada East Coast Regional Qualifiers were held in St. John over the weekend. A story with no strings attached. Next. Well, not everyone can play an instrument. Most of us have rocked out on the old air guitar once or twice. The CTV's Avery McRae shows us the East Coast best took the stage in St. John over the weekend to dazzle us with their showmanship.
This isn't your average rock concert fans have become accustomed to on St. John's waterfront.
This is awesome. I couldn't believe it.
Paul Legay's traveled from Moncton to take the stage, air guitar and all.
All the years that I've been watching like stuff for air guitars, and you guys you hosted it. I was amazed.
The first ever Air Guitar Canada East Coast Regional Qualifier was held at Area 506 this weekend, where professionals and amateurs alike showed you don't need a physical instrument to bring down the house.
It's just always been in my blood. I just I live in my mom's basement. I just play Guitar Hero all day long, and I just knew I was the one. I'm going to Toronto, boys.
That's because that's where the National Air Guitar Contest is held, with the national champ then bound for Finland for the Worlds later this summer.
It brings together such wonderful people who just want to have fun and play. It's something that we all do, a little bit of air guitar now and then, but this is about celebrating those little moments of joy.
Geneviève the Phoenix LeBlanc was the national champion in 2017. She says the best air guitarists are the ones who are original and let the music consume them.
The biggest mistake that people tend to make is they play teeny tiny air guitars. You gotta make it big, you gotta make it weighty.
The contest was a part of opening weekend at the Area 506 Container Village, which has no shortage of events planned for its 5th season.
2026 is going to be our best year yet, so if the weather's anything like it is this weekend, it's just going to continue to get bigger and better.
And it's already off to an air-rocking start. Avery McRae, CTV News, St. John.
Bigger, Kaylin, bigger. None of these tiny little guitars.
Radio. Yeah.
How fun. Congrats to everybody who took part. All right, also, congratulations on a fabulous long weekend.
I mean, if you're
kickoff.
looking for some sunshine and some warmth, we certainly had that. Now, temperatures for parts of the Maritimes have turned hot for this time of the year, and we've got some more May heat in the forecast for tomorrow, including some heat warnings that have been issued. We're looking out here at Grand Bay Westfield along the St. John River. I'm going to have more on that forecast coming up after the break.
I think it's really important to have a day to think about how far we've come, so to reflect on advances, to reflect on the work that's being done now against homophobia, transphobia, biphobia, and intersexism, and then to also think about what the challenges are.
May 17th was the International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia, and Transphobia, and it was marked with a flag raising today in Halifax. Dozens gathered at Province House for the ceremony aimed at promoting equality, inclusion, and combating discrimination and violence against members of 2S LGBTQ+ communities. And Kaylin, it does look like they had a beautiful afternoon for it as well.
Yeah, they sure did. Now, a lot of parts of the Maritimes were warm through the long weekend. Some areas turned hot today. Not everyone, because parts of the Maritimes did see some rain, some showers move through, cooling down things a little bit. But I'm guessing any cruise ship passengers, this is the Norwegian Breakaway in the port of Halifax, visiting, probably weren't too disappointed with conditions around the region. I mean, the Halifax area and coastal areas in Nova Scotia today were really interesting because right on the coast or down by the water, a lot of temperatures were around the mid to high teens. But as soon as you got away from that sea breeze, that little bit of wind coming in off the ocean waters, temperatures climbed up in some areas mid to high 20s, and some interior areas of southwest and Nova Scotia today made up to the low 30s with high temperatures around 30, 31, 32 degrees. Now, why is this hot air in place? Where did it arrive from? How did it build in? Well, it came in with a ridge of very warm air that built up out of the United States. So this extends basically all the way up the eastern seaboard and parts of southern Ontario, southern Quebec. You see that very warm air here represented in through the yellows, and you can see the Maritimes is under that. And we're into the peak of this now. It's peaking tomorrow. And then after that, as we make our way through the end of this week, Thursday and Friday, a little cold front moves through, and that's going to allow for some cooler air to move back into place from the Maritimes. It's coming off the Hudson Bay area down through Quebec and into the Maritime region. So temperatures will be coming down for both Thursday and Friday. But tomorrow, though, there there are going to be some areas that are going to be hot for this time of the year. Now, taking a look at things on radar right now around the Maritimes, here's some areas, some rain and some showers moving through. There have been some thunderstorms with these showers, most of those offshore of the east of Nova Scotia. But with this round of showers making its way through the southwest of New Brunswick and now towards western areas of Nova Scotia, there'll be a low chance there could be a small pop-up thunderstorm with that as well as we continue through this evening. Any thunderstorms, though, should be fairly short-lived, and as we make our way through the night, any remaining showers basically come to an end. The overnight hours will be partly cloudy with fog patches developing. Temperatures tonight on the milder side, and then in the forecast tomorrow, a chance of showers in northern New Brunswick in the morning, and then in the afternoon, a chance of showers in central and southern areas of New Brunswick, a risk of a thunderstorm with those. And then for Wednesday evening, there'll be a chance of a shower for both Prince Edward Island and Nova Scotia, and again, a low risk of a thunderstorm. The chance of a shower, that low risk of a thunderstorm in the forecast for Wednesday, that's that cold front approaches and moves through with temperatures coming down behind it though. So that does mean again that it is going to be warm to hot across much of the region tomorrow. Taking a look at winds in the forecast for Wednesday, they're going to be out of the west and southwest. They will be mostly sustained, 20 to 30 kilometers per hour. We'll have a few occasional gusts up between 30 and 50 kilometers per hour. Here's a look at low temperatures in the forecast for tonight for the Maritimes, and most will be around the low to mid-teens. There will be some parts of the east of New Brunswick, some parts of Cape Breton with temperatures a little bit cooler, around the mid to high single digits. Here's your high temperatures in the forecast for Wednesday. And away from coastal areas, a lot of the highs tomorrow, mid to high 20s and some into the low 30s. Areas that will be a little bit more moderate around the Bay of Fundy coastline in New Brunswick, parts of the Atlantic coastline of Nova Scotia, and Cape Breton. And we have our first heat warnings of the year. They've been issued for parts of Nova Scotia, the Annapolis Valley, as well as inland areas of both Queens and Lunenburg County. Again, for tomorrow, high temperatures are expected to be near 30 degrees. Let's take a look at our weather watcher for tonight. And tonight's weather watcher is coming in from nine-year-old Isabel Comeau from Moncton, New Brunswick. Isabella sent us a drawing of spring flowers blooming after a thunderstorm has passed through. Thank you, Isabel. It's a great drawing. Weather watchers can come in anytime to CTV Weather Watchers, P.O. Box 1653, Halifax, Nova Scotia, B3J2Z4, or email kaylin.mitchell@bellmedia.ca. Maria.
Thank you, Kaylin. And speaking of spring flowers, you could say one of the Maritime's newest festivals got off to a blooming start over the weekend. As CTV's Jonathan McGinnis shows us, the River Breeze Farms Tulip Festival welcomed thousands during their soft opening before the buds hit full bloom next weekend.
The idea was born around the dinner table.
Can't remember who brought up tulips, but as soon as it was brought up, we were like, we should do this. That's a great idea.
The Lorraine family operate River Breeze Farm in Upper Onslow near Truro. Looking to add an extra attraction to the area, Jillian's father, Jim, agreed to the idea. His daughter did the research and settled on Vasco Farms in Prince Edward Island as their tulip bulb supplier. She placed an order for 200,000.
Obviously, my father didn't pick them out. I took that job on because it was super, I love flowers, and so I planned all the different colors we'd get, the different varieties, mixes, and all that.
The first Tulip Festival took root. A soft opening was held over the Victoria Day long weekend.
We basically on social media told everybody to stay away until next weekend. Not all the varieties are in bloom yet. We're about 15% bloom currently.
The true colors are expected to really pop by next weekend. Still, hundreds showed up on both Saturday and Sunday.
We walked around, took a bunch of photos, all the photo ops. There's some great places to take photos. It's beautiful, like a lot of kids and families here.
I love flowers, so it's always nice to have fresh flowers on your table, and why not pick them yourself?
Jim Lorraine admits the response far exceeded the family's expectations. Plans are already underway to plant more than 500,000 bulbs in their fields for what will be the second annual River Breeze Tulip Festival next year. Jonathan McGinnis, CTV News, Upper Onslow, Nova Scotia.
Oh, it's just beautiful. Already so colorful at just 15%. Imagine what next weekend will look like. River Breeze Farms, if you'd like to see them for yourself. Time for a break here, our final break actually. Coming up next, Hab fans are very happy in this story.
I'm Brian Foley in Halifax, where Habs pride continues to shine thanks to a couple of Atlantic Canadiens. We'll have that story coming up tonight on CTV News at 5.
Welcome back. A massive Game 7 win for the Montreal Canadiens. He's the youngest team since the '93 Habs make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. And as CTV's Brianne Foley shows us, fans and family are all in on the Habs for the East Coast.
Over the line comes Newhook, shooting, scores!
I'm still not over it. I can't believe it because, you know, he's so awesome, but at the same time, it's just like it's still kind of setting in.
Thanks to another Game 7 winner by Newfoundland's Alex Newhook, Atlantic pride is at an all-time high for the Montreal Canadiens.
Pretty proud, yeah. No, Alex Newhook, Game 7 hero, both rounds, making the Maritimes proud. And obviously Noah Dobson, a new player on the team, and just shutting people down, all their top lines.
4 Habs fans to our left. And one of them knew that it was Newhook. And so about 5 minutes after the goal, we had another celebration.
Jordy Brown and his parents made a Saturday decision to drive to Buffalo for Game 7 and provide some extra East Coast energy.
We've been very fortunate. We've been, supported all along the way. I know they say it takes a village to raise a family, but it takes a community to raise a hockey player too at that level.
Having Atlantic representation on the historic Habs team is something family and friends take pride in.
You know, both times he scored, obviously a huge celebration where I was watching and was able to call my family, and they were obviously celebrating with a lot of their friends.
Yeah, I was so happy for Noah and the Montreal Canadiens, and nice to see a Newfoundlander score the OT goal too as well. So
Atlantic pride keeps rising for original Habs fans and new additions.
To be honest with you, I was a Washington Capitals fan since the 90s.
Montreal fan, believe it or not. Crazy. I mean, a lot of Newfoundlanders are.
Dad kind of threw a Habs t-shirt on me at 4 years old and been a fan ever since.
I didn't really have any say in the matter. I was raised to be a Habs fan.
As for everyone I spoke with, well, here on the East Coast, there is an obvious answer who they want in the Stanley Cup final. That would be, yes, the Colorado Avalanche and the Montreal Canadiens. Brianne Foley, CTV News, Halifax.
Ooh, McKinnon versus the Habs.
That'd be great.
It would be great. It would be great. We can hope.
Did I see a report that some of the universities, the colleges in the Montreal area and some of their seismology equipment picked up basically the activity of those Habs fans?
A micro earthquake, 0.5 on the Richter scale, apparently.
They're rocking for sure.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing hotter than the Habs right now, the temperatures in parts of the Maritimes. And it is going to be a hot day tomorrow. Not for everybody, but for a good portion of the region. So we'll be going through that again coming up CTV News at 6.
We'll take it. Thank you, Kaylin. We'll see you and Todd at 6. I'll see you tomorrow. The national news is next. Good night.